I just fixed an issue with our brand new water heater on our brand new RV. So today I'm going to walk you through all the troubleshooting steps and what I did to fix it. First off, before we jump into this, I want to provide a quick little caveat / disclaimer. These videos that we make like this are considered a how we did it video, not a how to video. I'm not providing you this information so that you can go out and troubleshoot unless that's something you are 100% comfortable with. I had electronics training and know all this from my days in the Navy back in the 80s. I also did go to the NRVTA and I'm now an RVTAA registered technician, so I do have a little bit of background on these water heaters. Additionally, this is the same water heater we had in our last RV that I also did some troubleshooting on. We'll link those videos down below. I just wanted to get that out there. Don't go taking this thing apart. You could void your warranty. Don't do any of this unless you are 100% sure you're capable of it. Let's get into it. When troubleshooting any kind of problem, whether it's this or something else, one of the first steps you want to do is isolate and identify the exact problem and also find a way to reproduce it. That way you can test it at the end to see if your fix fixed it. With this, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. We had no hot water, so I fired up the gas side and we did have hot water. So it was pretty straightforward that we had a problem on the 120 volt side of this particular water heater. If you're not familiar with this water heater, this is the SW12DEL by Suburban. It has both a gas side and electric side, pretty well separated. I'll get into that in a minute. But you can use either or both of them even to heat your water. Since I knew the problem was isolated to the 120 volt electric side of the water heater, I started there. I went straight to the end point where that electricity manifests itself as heat, and that is the heating element. Well, that comes off. I looked for 120 volts on the heating element. It wasn't there, so I knew for sure that's where my problem lied. While I was getting out here to take those readings and test it, I did notice that I could hear a relay clicking on the inside whenever I turned it on and off via the one control. So I decided I would start there, get up in the belly of the beast here, and see if I could figure out how the wires were run and what was going on here. This purple line comes straight from the distribution panel, which is right there, and runs into this relay right down here. I could see that there was 120 volts coming into that relay and out of that relay when the power was on and the switch was on. So I knew that power was getting to that relay and through the relay. Now looking on the side of that little box that was on there, I could see it had a wiring diagram and it showed it going straight to the thermostat, which makes sense. So at this point I've eliminated the power supply, which is the distribution panel. I got 120 volts coming to that relay. I've eliminated the relay because I can see power on both sides of that relay when the relay is engaged and turned on in the one control system. So now I need to go down the line and see what's next. I knew from my NRVTA training that the thermostat is right behind the panel right here. As soon as I got that cover off, it was very clear the problem was there. Found a problem, if not the problem. You could see the line coming in from that relay to the top of the thermostats was clearly burnt and melted. But out of curiosity, I did do some voltage checks on those relays all the way around, and I got nothing, not even on the side that had the burnt connector. Probably it had completely severed and fried that section. So the clear and obvious first step in this repair is going to be replacing that melted and completely scorched connector. So I took that off of the relay, I pulled some wiring out, and then I could see where I think the source of the problem was. Looks like we got a little bit of a rub here. I don't know if maybe that's shorted. Yeah, I think that's what it is. There's a cut on the insulation that probably shorted against the case, provided a direct route to ground for 120 volt, and then fried that connector. So at least I have now identified where the problem is and what I think the root cause is. So my first step was to replace that connector, and when I did that, I put 2 layers of heat shrink on the cable to protect that area that rubbed. Of course, I replaced the connector. I also cleaned the contacts of the relay itself with sandpaper and contact cleaner, hooked it all back up, and all right, so here's the current situation. I have this repaired over here. and I read 120 volts on this side, but I don't read anything on this side. So this is not closing. Also, when I hold down the reset, it's 5 volts less on this side. I also see a little bit of scoring now over here on this, and I suspect that this thermostat is now bad. So my next step was basically to button it all back up, turn on the gas water heater, and go to Amazon and order a couple, because I like to keep spares, of those thermostats. Real quick, I want to jump in here and just say that if you like this video, give us some love back and click that like button for us. Also click the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss future videos. Those two things will really help us out on our channel, and we really appreciate it. Amazon delivered this nice new thermostat. Actually got 2 of them because, you know, whenever I replace something I usually get an extra just to have a spare. So we're going to go put this thing on, and hopefully we should be back to 100% functional once I replace this. And this should be pretty simple. Just pull the old one out, plug the new one in, screw it down. It should be pretty straightforward. Let's go. Hello?
FYI, I'm doing laundry.
Oh, yeah, I could tell. Say hi to the people.
Hey, peeps, what's up?
All right, I'll talk to you in a bit. So in case you're wondering here why there are 2 real thermostats on here, this one is just a standard on-off thermostat that will trip at 130 degrees, which is your normal shut-off. And I believe this one's at like 140, 160, something like that. And this is kind of an emergency cutoff or an ECO breaker. And this is the one that, you know, if the system gets too hot, you have to reset it by pushing it. And that's what the little things are on here to actually push through and push this. So this is the bad one. You can actually see some of the scorch marks on the back here. So, yep, out with that one. I installed it, really simple install, popping the 2 things off, screwing it on, really no big deal. After I put it on there, I realized, oh, wait a minute, I need to fix the root cause of this. So I started looking into how the wires were routed and what had been done to sort of mitigate the sharp edges on the case. And I could see that Suburban had made a bend in there where the wire went through, but the bend in our case was not sufficient. They kind of bend this piece of metal here so that these don't rub on the sharp edges behind here, but it's not bent over here to the right, which is where these wires are running. So I need to bend that up a little bit. I think I'm going to pull both of these out so that I can get access here and properly bend this all the way over. So I pulled both of those thermostats off, and then I bent the top, and I went ahead and bent the bottom. I wanted to make sure that the wires go up and down through there, that there's no way for them to hit those rough edges. So I bent them all back up really good, reinstalled both thermostats, and tested, and bingo. So they're both off, gas and electric. And I should have no voltage down here. Good. 0, 0. Okay. Now we will turn on the electric water heater. Now we should have 120 volts here. Yep. Ooh, and I hear it heating up. That's good. 120 volts here. 120 here. 120 here. And most importantly, we should have 120 right here. Boom. Good to go. And I buttoned it all back up, and it's been good ever since. So let's address the core root cause issue here as far as those wires. Who's responsible for that build and, you know, getting that wire next to that sharp edge that caused the short, that caused this thing to go bad. You know, we've only got about 1,500, less than 2,000 miles on this RV, so it's not like it's been out there all across the country bouncing around for years and years. It's been a very short time. And the short answer is Suburban is responsible for this water heater and its wiring inside. Because that's essentially what happened is it's the wiring inside behind the panel on the thermostats that rubbed the case inside that caused it to short. Now, I reached out to Suburban and I basically described the situation. I just used the contact form on their website. They were very responsive. They got back to me within a couple of hours. Chris Spangler reached out. He works for Suburban in the manufacturing area, I believe. And I basically had 2 questions for them that Chris answered. Number 1 was, will they take this information and give feedback to the manufacturing and have them maybe be a little more careful and double check that they're bending not just a little piece of that lip, but really the whole, in my opinion, the whole thing should be bent up, or at least make sure it's not hitting wires. They're going to look into that and they're going to give that feedback, and they were actually very gracious about it and receptive, and I found that very good. They basically said, hey, when we make a mistake, we want to know about it, and so there you have it. The other question I had for them was, if I recommend to you guys to go look behind that panel and check your wiring, will that void the warranty? And the answer is no. Obviously, there are some caveats to that. If you don't know what you're doing and you dig in there with a screwdriver and rip wires out or do something silly, that's on you. So have a good level of comfort taking that off before you get in there and look at it. That's all we got for now. Be sure to check out these videos, and we'll see you next time.